like those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Friday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Mr. Ty Bartell, and we're looking spiffy finishing out the week. Ty, after today, three more Fridays until that big old football starts.
It's really starting to inch closer. I got a chance to listen to the Power Hour a little bit yesterday while I was at work, listening to DJ2 talking a little bit about the South Range season upcoming too. It's football's in the air, volleyball's in the air as well, and we certainly are excited for that as well. You start to feel it though; it's coming, and those fall sports. Starting really though still at the end of summer they're starting, but those fall sports certainly coming up on us really quick.
Yeah, I mean, I think once August first hits, that's when the stone really catches momentum.
And I mean, we're only a week removed from the month of August, so I mean it's coming up in a hurry as well. So we're gonna get there, and once we get there, that's when practices start. A lot of tryouts and for volleyball typically too. So we're going to know these teams. We're going to know these rosters going into it, and maybe some new faces that could shake things up. We've seen some freshmen certainly showcase that they can do that last year.
We've seen a lot of social media posts about, football teams at camp, volleyball teams at camp, soccer camps that have been going on. But like August 1st hits, and that's when the official start date of mandatory practices start. So that's when your volleyball tryouts, your soccer tryouts happen. So like I said, I mean, that's when everything just this is when it gets serious, like lock in time and get ready for that first game or match, in the third week of August. Is that when I think that's the third week.
August 19th is the first football Friday. August 20th is the first volleyball games. August 18th is the first football game. So
third week, right?
Yeah, I think that's the third week. Yeah, it's the 18th to Thursday is the first football game. So 18th, 19th, 20th, that whole week/weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is the beginning of all those.
Third week. I'm right. Okay. We're good.
And there are a lot of big matchups going on in those 3 days too, in the football realm and certainly in the volleyball realm as well. And this is going to be an exciting opening week of fall sports in the high schools.
And speaking of that, we'll get to some not breaking news, but I think we were kind of anticipating it. But there was some news that broke this morning about Cardinal Mooney and their home games and what they'll be doing for their home games this season. But before we get to that, like always, I want to start with what happened last night, the results of last night's NABF games. And Ty, one of the more dramatic games that we saw last night came from one of our Class B teams in the 16U division. Avalanche walks off the win, and they get it over the first win of the NABF series. They walk off. Let me get their opponent real quick. The Bonnie Bees. Walk off the Bonnie Bees, and they got their first win of the tournament. Pitchers duel, 3-2 Avalanche win, and they scored in the seventh inning, like I said, to win that game. We kind of went over that because it went final before our show ended. So we told you yesterday about the stats and everything, but that ended up being one of the more dramatic games, the dramatic scores of the night. There was only one other score that was decided by one run.
And, this just shows the high quality of baseball that you get with these NABF games. And that's exactly what we've seen is a lot of just quality baseball across the board.
Avalanche's 16U walked off. Avalanche's 18U. They did not need any dramatic flair in their game. They walked away with an 11-0 victory over the BHM Buckeyes. So they were emphatic in their opening day win. Jake Kale led the bats. He went 1 for 3 on the day. A run scored, 2 RBI. Julian Trott, he had a good day at the plate as well. He went 3 for 3, perfect, never retired RBI as well. Logan Ayers was perfect at the plate, going 2 for 2 with 2 runs and a walk and an RBI. Noah Reichard, 2 RBI in the day on a 1 for 3 day. And then Kenny Lavrich, multiple hits, 2 for 3, run scored, and an RBI for their offense. And then, of course, they also shut out the Buckeyes. Jarrett Boyer collected the win. He went 3 innings, gave up no runs on 1 hit, struck out 6. The Avalanche pitching staff combined struck out 9 and didn't walk any.
Just impressive to see the amount of pitching. And that's what we had an extensive conversation about this, I think, a few days ago, about just the pitching quality that you see in this NABF World Series in these kind of games. It's an uptick. And once you get in the higher ages, especially, the scores start to get lower, it feels like, and you get more of those close competitive games, at least more frequently, it seems like. And we see it once again. It happened a lot last night.
When we were talking yesterday, like what was going to be the average combined score of these games, and I think you were right. We are going way over 6 runs per. You look at the finals from yesterday. As you look at them, there was 7-0, 10-3, 18-7, 11-0, 13-3, 15-5, 3-2. 7-3, there's 10-3 in there, 2 10-3 games, and then 8-0, 7-4, 8-5, 12-2. Those are all games where the runs are of plenty, at least for one team.
And that's what you're gonna have to see. And sometimes pitchers need to make that adjustment. And the first games that they get thrown out there, it's kind of like getting thrown to the wolves, and you need to kind of figure out your way to figure out how to navigate through these tough lineups and realize that every single batter 1 through 9 is going to be a battle, and one that you're going to have to really hone in your skills to try to get through. And, sometimes it takes a start or two for these pitchers to adjust. Some of them, we've seen some low scoring games. I can imagine that you're going to see some higher scoring games early on in these tournament games, but I feel like as you get closer into it, once these pitchers have some experience, I've seen these bats maybe once or twice, I think you'll see these pitchers start to figure some things out, and they'll be able to counterbalance what we've seen early on here.
So far, the finals are looking a lot like they did in the 14U last week, where there's a lot of runs being scored either by both teams or by one team. But the average runs per game, if you combine them, are just skyrocketing.
Yeah, they're absolutely skyrocketing, and a lot of just good bats that we see in the area. A lot of kids that know how to take a great approach at the plate and keep that same consistent approach time in and time out, no matter what the count is. And you see the high number of quality hitters that are in this NABF World Series. It's astonishing to see how much talent there is.
Some other Class B scores from last night. Our teams that we've covered all summer on YSN. Nightline 18U got the 8-0 win over Troy. And, there was a Trojan horse, and it was Nightline going in to conquer the ancient city of Troy. That's a complete dominance. I don't know what happened there. I thought I was going to get the hiccups for a second. They won 8-0. They pitched well. They hit well. Mikey Scortino, who's a name that we know all too well. Pair runs scored, 1 for 4 on the day. Pair RBI as well. Alec Grizib went 3 for 4 at the plate. RBI on his record as well. Chance Lasco, 1 for 3, run scored, RBI. And then Gavin Strum also had an RBI and a walk. And then it was Nate Vinmar pitching the Nightline to victory. He went 7 innings, complete game, pitched a shutout, gave up 5 hits, struck out 9. So that is a really good pitching performance from a very tough NABF lineup.
We've had Coach Tom Otto on before. They call him Coach Petey over there too in Struthers. But yeah, he's one of those guys that knows how to pick out great arms. He's consistently always been able to pick out some great arms in a bunch, and you see the quality of pitching Nightline had not only in the Class B season, but now in the NABF World Series. It's carried over. There's some quality arms in that group.
Quality arms, quality bats. I mean, we were going through some of these box scores, learning some of these out of town names that are coming in and making their mark in the NABF World Series. You can find all the recaps and scores on our website, ysnlive.com, and get to know some of these new names, some of these out of town names that are really shining bright.
There's plenty of them too. And I mean, these are names, like you said, and you're going to need to know because they're going to be playing at some colleges, maybe near you. And you'll probably be seeing a large majority of them at the next level in some form or fashion.
We have games going on as we speak right now, as well as the finals that came in last night. So we actually have the round of finals in from this morning. Game started at 10 a.m. at both Bobseen Park and Austintown Fitch, hosting this in ABF as well today. And the finals that have already come in, we have the Ohio Longhorns Lally team edging the Brooklyn Bonnie Bees 1-0. We saw East Coast Michigan square off with Mid-Atlantic. Mid-Atlantic took that game 6-2. And then we have Creekside Fitness 18U squad. They beat Pro 9 Baseball 4-0. Those are the three finals that came in this morning. Games resume at 12:30 at both Austintown Fitch and Scene Park.
It's exciting times too to have all these games going on. It's something to do if you're out in these communities too. Springfield, Austintown, Struthers, all having a bunch of games going on right now that you could go out and catch. And if you can't, you know where you could find them right here on ysnlive.com.
The announcers that are doing the games this morning are Richie Giuliano pulling double duty in Austintown Fitch. We have a video crew at Scene for video-only games in the morning. Scene 2 will be covered by Matt Mayer. And then we'll have David Williams come on and start at Scene 1 at 12:30 as well. There are also games at Springfield today, Ty. So not just Scene Park and Austintown, but we will have Noah Doty head over to Springfield for some 16U action as well.
It's exciting to see how many games there are literally happening throughout the entire day, morning to night, this entire weekend. Like you said, Ann, and we said it yesterday too. We're not fooling around this week, and there are games out the wazoo.
21 NABF games, and then a Mahoning Valley Scrappers game later tonight for the network today.
And you get a little bit of that Mahoning Valley Scrappers too, to get a taste of that new team too, some new faces, and get a chance to look at what they have to offer now for this team. And exciting to see the new rounds of guys too, and see who can step up and start to produce.
Yeah, this is the point of the draft league, to get people drafted, and we saw a lot of people from the Scrappers and from the whole league either get drafted or sign free agency deals the day after the draft.
You never know. I mean, it all depends on the kind of seasons they have, but they have a chance to start making some noise right now and making their name be heard.
It's got to be thrilling to, you go through this draft league, you're fighting just to kind of boost your resume, right? And then in the middle of the season, you kind of get drafted and you're going to be represented by a new team, right? So an MLB team claims you. It's got to be kind of a really cool moment to be like, okay, I guess I did good enough in this first half of the summer to open some eyes.
It's a nice feeling to know that those eyes were looking at you too, and they saw enough in you that they want to take a chance at you. And hey, that's the ticket to the train, right? And sometimes the destination can just stop at the big leagues, and you never know. But you got the ticket on the train, and you're at least on for the ride right now.
I think there were more players this year that got drafted out of the draft league than last year, which that's one of the main goals of this league.
You want to just see that keep on going up, man. I mean, that number, if it keeps on going up, that's good for Mahoning Valley too, because it only just serves a reason to keep the Scrappers in production and keep them here in the Mahoning Valley.
Speaking of Scrappers, we still have the 4 tickets to give away like we do every Friday, Ty. And we're going to stick with the same question that we've been trying to get people to answer for the last week. It's going to be the official opening day date of Eastwood Field. So if you hit us up with that date, you'll have 4 free tickets to any of the Scrappers' remaining home games throughout the summer. They are in 12 of their next 15 games are going to be at Eastwood Field.
And I mean, you get a chance too to see any of those remaining home games too. And it's a pretty easy question. You can find it fairly easy. The anniversary of the opening date happened semi recently, I'd say now. So it's fresh enough that you can definitely find something on.
I just gave you a bigger hint by saying happened in the past tense.
There you go.
So
there you go.
Happened. Maybe that's a little bit of more of a hint. And look at Mark Roth comes in with the answer.
Look at him.
25th, 1999. Mark
He just
Roth,
got himself some free baseball tickets.
You got 4 Scrappers tickets, buddy.
To any of the remaining home games. There you go, Mark Roth, too, sliding in huge with the answer, getting those 4 tickets.
Mark, click on the trigger and you get a hold of us. Let us know what date you want to go to a game. We'll make sure to get these tickets and we'll call for you. They are upper box tickets and they can be redeemed at the Chevy All-Stars box office.
I think 4 tickets is just enough for the whole Roth family to go down to. I don't go to enough baseball, he said.
You need to get more in your. It might be nice, though, to just not have the stress of, being emotionally invested in a specific player and just kind of enjoy the.
Mark probably knows a few of the guys on the team now. He's probably seen a few of them play, honestly.
So there it is. We got that done really quick.
Yeah, got that out of the way quick too. And we got the Mahoning Valley Scrappers tickets. But I mean, all the more reason too, folks. Still get a chance if you get the chance. Get out to the ballpark while you still can. There's only a few more remaining weeks of the season left where you're going to have a chance to see home games at Eastwood Field. Take advantage of it while you still can and while baseball season's still alive and well.
Tonight is Down Syndrome Awareness Night at Eastwood Field. There will be a jersey auction in person and online benefiting the DSAV. You can bid now, actually, until the end of the game. Fireworks also tonight presented by Eastern Gateway Community College, 21 WFMJ. WBCB and Mix 98.9, all the presenting sponsors of that fireworks show. And once again, Down Syndrome Awareness Night, there is a live auction that is, you can either bid at the game or you can bid online right now. To find that link, you can go to Mahoning Valley Scrappers social media pages and click on the link that says bid now here. And you can have yourself what I think is a really cool jersey. I don't know if you've seen it, Ty. It's kind of black, blue, and yellow, and it's got the up arrows that signify the Down syndrome awareness. And it's got the heart on the chest with 3.21 on the left chest. So it looks like a really cool jersey.
Scrappers always going the extra mile too for their promotions and giveaways and nights like that. So nice to see that they're taking this night into consideration as well and adding it to their long list and long lineage of nights like this to support good causes in the area.
All benefits or all proceeds from the jersey auction go to the Down Syndrome Association of the Valley, and that's a really good cause to get behind.
Mark Roth, too, in the comments section. Just, of course, always, Mark, we always appreciate you as well. Hopping on and grabbing those Scrappers tickets, too. You got them fresh out the oven. We didn't even have to wait for that question.
How quickly he answered that, I feel like he knew it. I don't think he had to look it up.
Yeah, he probably didn't. We just didn't catch him the other times we've asked the question is the problem. So, he was quick with the trigger on that one. And he's, of course, going to see another baseball game, too. And Mark Roth and baseball go together perfectly.
Yeah, you think I wonder how many games he's actually seen in his
life. My goodness. I mean that's a trivial question in of itself.
Do you ever catch yourself at a game and like stop and reflect in a downtime and be like, how many games have I really been to? And it's like it's uncountable almost.
I can't. I don't even want to take a guess at how many games Mark's been to because it's got to be up there. Baseball's been a huge part of his life for a long, long time.
Tonight, the Scrappers start a stretch where they play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 games in a row. And they start with a homestand, 6-game homestand against State College this weekend. And then they will welcome in Frederick on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Like we said, you get to see a couple of home opponents against the Scrappers in some big games down the stretch too. Mahoning Valley looking for some wins with some new faces.
Yeah, and then if we go to the Draft League website real quick and look at the standings of the Draft League, we went over them after the end of the break, but in case you weren't here with us, I clicked on the wrong link, excuse me. Let's see, standings. I know that West Virginia has had a great push throughout the second half of I shouldn't say the second half of the season. I should say the second half of the first half of the season. Maybe is that more reliable? Remember the start that West Virginia had, they were like 1-10. They ended that break at first place. So they're obviously looking good. The Scrappers started really good. They're like the opposite story, and they kind of struggled throughout the last stretch. So they'll look to turn that around tonight in the second half of the MLB Draft League, as they once again host State College tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, and then welcome in Frederick on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Like we said, get out there and support. Oh yeah, there. Like I said, if you're counting softball too, softball, baseball,
basketball. I'm sure
all the other baseball games that he's been to, that professional, minor league. I mean, it's probably a decent number of games too.
You know what else? When you think about that, like every game you go to, you hear the national anthem. So you've probably heard the national anthem more than any other song that you've actually listened to.
Probably a decent amount too.
I mean, unless you're sitting there hitting one song on repeat all day.
Just listening. Oh man, but no. What's a better way to spend your time though, for free time, leisure time, than at the ballpark?
Especially on a day like this, the weather's beautiful. It's a perfect day to kind of get up and get out to a ball game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there are a lot of baseball going on in the area, including the Scrappers at 7:05 tonight. Today on the network, we're going on the show. We're going to have Jenna Modic-Blithers, who is a Poland alum, had a great career as a softball player in Division I, actually in the ACC at Pitt, and just took a new assistant coaching job at Florida Gulf Coast University. So she'll be joining us at 1 o'clock. Doubleheader tonight. That's what Mark Ross says.
A lot of big games going on too. I mean, there's a lot of baseball games happening in the northeast part of Ohio right now. Whether you're looking professionally, whether you're looking minor leagues, whether you're looking draft league, whether you're looking NABF. I mean, there's just a lot of baseball happening right now in northeast Ohio, and we love it. Obviously, on the network, we got a large chunk of it covered for you right here on the network.
But we're looking forward to our guest today, and it's going to be great to talk about her career and her time at Poland and her time, recruiting kids at a coaching level, and what some of her advice is to kids on the recruiting path right now. I know it's changed a lot since she was recruited back in high school, so some changes, and it's going to be a fun conversation with a former standout for Poland softball.
Was a part of that, like you said, championship team with Aaron Gabriel too. So, I mean, she's had that state championship experience in high school as well. So she can definitely serve from an experience standpoint some crucial, I think, advice for some younger athletes and some athletes, like you said, Ant, looking to get to the next level. Yeah,
and we look forward to that. And we also look forward to everything else we have in store for you on the show today. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, all that and more on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens. On air, online, Wednesday afternoon weather update,
very dangerous,
and on the 21 News social media platforms. 21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees.
Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists, located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. Ty, yesterday we were talking to Austintown softball for 10U, and we also talked about Poland's 10U team going down to state as well, but that is not the only Little League teams that we have fighting for a state championship this weekend. Canfield's 10U baseball team, who won the District 2 championship a little bit earlier in the summer, they're heading down to the state tournament this week. They will play North Canton in Rock Hill at 12:30 on Saturday to start their state run. And they have a send-off today at 1 o'clock at Canfield High School for that Little League team.
That'll be a great time too to get the troops rallied for that one too and get them excited. And what an exciting time too for the kids to have a chance to compete in these games.
So if you're watching and you're from Canfield and you want to support the Canfield 10U Little League baseball team, make sure to go to Canfield High School. In about a half an hour, they're having a send-off party for the Cardinals as they go to Rock Hill to fight for a state championship this weekend.
And Rock Hill, I don't think I'm even familiar with Rock Hill. I don't think I've ever even seen or heard of a team playing there.
And let's Google map that because I'm interested.
I've never, because that was an interesting location. Unless that's just another name for it, and I might have been there. I might have seen it before.
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's a park in a town called Flushing, Ohio.
I've never heard of it. I don't think I've heard of that.
It's an hour and a half away, according to my Google app, and it looks it's like in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if that's it. I don't know.
It's Ohio's version of the Field of Dreams. It's like it's just in the middle of nowhere.
I don't know.
Anthony's skeptic.
There's a lot of green on the map where I'm looking.
It's just like a 10-mile path, like a 10-mile dirt path to this baseball field.
I mean, there are little buildings. I'm not looking at the Google satellite image.
You're just looking at.
I'm just looking at the iPhone's map app.
That'll be exciting though to see those teams compete. I'm excited to get a chance to talk about Rock Hill, I guess, as a complex.
The District 2 site, social media says that they'll take on North Canton Saturday in Rock Hill, Ohio at 12:30.
So there we go.
I couldn't find a city named Rock Hill.
Flushing, Ohio.
Rock Hill was in Flushing.
So it's in Flushing, I guess. Flushing, Ohio.
But it's only an hour and a half away, so it's like
do not take our directions as advice on how to get to this ballpark. We have no idea if we're actually correct on that right now.
I don't even know any of these like cities that it's Barnesville is close to it. Looks like it's a little bit west of Wheeling. Wellsburg.
I gotta figure that's probably it.
Oh, you know what? It's on the West Virginia border because I know where Weirton, West Virginia. It's like south of Weirton, West Virginia. So it's
okay. That probably makes sense. So it's probably down in like your East Liverpool, Wellsville kind of country, a little bit past that probably.
Yeah, it's south of Steubenville.
Yeah, so it's even, it's really far down there. So yeah, right there on the border then.
So that's
wonder why it's in the middle of nowhere. You talk about West Virginia, Ohio border. It's like definition of like middle of nowhere.
There's gonna be a lot of bending roads. Be careful when you drive down there.
Hills, green grasslands.
We've been doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
But one more team to shout out that is going for a state championship this weekend. Boardman 11U. Boardman 11U will take on North Canton as well. On the state tournament Saturday at 2.
We're excited to see what this Boardman team continues to be able to do, as they've really been the story. All these Boardman teams, baseball and softball, have been quite the story this year.
Yeah, it's a remarkable program. Obviously, the youth is strong in Boardman, and they have a state championship in softball. Looking for one in 11U baseball. Canfield looking for one in 10U baseball. And of course, we talked to Austintown softball coach Matt Hamley yesterday about their trip to state, as well as Poland softball trip to state this weekend in Ashtabula.
At AAC, man, it might be a 5-team conference, but 4 of those teams really quality baseball, softball teams that are going to continue bringing teams through the ranks.
Speaking of the AAC, also in regionals is the older Canfield team, the 13U. Canfield team that won state. We've covered them last year. Name that really rings the bell for them is Paris Lungston, who's on that team. Very good pitchers, locked down for Canfield. So they're going to be fighting for a regional, as well as Boardman's 12U team.
And that's always exciting times, right? Is being able to win those regionals and know you're going to that next round. And I mean, that's that's when it starts to get really big then.
That'll be, well, for Boardman, that'll be in Whitestown, Indiana. And if you want to follow them, the games will be streamed on ESPN Plus starting on Monday.
That's what I said. That's big time. Then that's when it gets exciting, right?
That's when the ESPN shows up with their trucks. And then if you get the Little League World Series, then you're locked in, right?
You're on ESPN. Like that's
you got their top analysts, coming to your game. I think Amanda Scarborough does the Little League World Series. So, she's a announcer that does the College World Series for
We're just YSN is like the golden bridge right into ESPN. So you can literally watch every game. If they make it to that World Series, you can watch every game on that journey there too, just about every game along the way. So
they start with us in districts. You get to watch them win districts, and then, they make their way to ESPN for regionals.
It's a great time to see on from YSN to ESPN, right?
That's a nice roll off the tongue. And again, I just watching, you get to win your state, and then you get to go and represent your state, not just your community in regionals. I think it'd be really cool to have something for high school like that.
We've discussed that extensively.
I know, it just, the more I think about the way Little League set up, the more I fantasize about like the Ohio State champion going and taking on the Indiana State champion,
Just randomize the states, all 50 of them in a 50-team tournament. Oh my god!
Then we can really decide who has the best sports in the country.
That'd be pretty cool too. And you got to take some of the best of the best too. Like, what if you took how big would the rosters be for each team, right?
Well, no, it'd just be whoever won your state championship, right? So if your D3 state champion was champion in softball or whatever, they would go play the D3 or the equivalent class size state champion of.
I thought you were saying take the state champions, mix them all onto a team, just have the best of the best all go at each other.
Exactly how they do it in Little League. So the team that won state in Little League goes right to regionals, and they represent that state in the regional. So now you have 8 state champions going at it in Indiana and across the country. So that's what I'm talking about. So if you win state in Ohio, you go play another state's state champion.
I mean, why not at this point? I don't see any harm in having extensions on tournaments like that, especially for the.
Of course, it's because the time constraints. It's never going to happen.
No, but I don't see an issue with having those.
It would be fun, that's for sure. And there's a little bit of that with there's an all-star game between Penn and Ohio for football, so there's a little taste of state rivalries in the high school realm in some sports.
But I mean, it's also like with the football, we're also seeing a lot of teams starting to bring in teams from other states too. I mean, Pennsylvania teams, West Virginia teams. We're starting to see teams from New York, heck, from teams from Las Vegas, Nevada, coming in to play this season. It's cool to see those kind of teams make, especially in football, we see it, but those teams make those kind of trips down here or over here, I should say, out to the eastern part, Midwest, I guess, part of the U.S. to Ohio, and visit these schools around here.
A couple years back, if you remember, Mooney brought in a team from Canada, and my biggest question was do they have to go from Canadian rule football in high school up in Canada, and all of a sudden they're playing American rules football down here, and they had to get you practice that and get used to that, or if in high school in Canada it's this the football that we know here in Ohio, and the rules for Canadian football are just for their professional league.
You gotta just learn them on the fly, go right into.
They're not too different. I mean, there are just some differences here and there, but the skeleton of the game is the same. There are just a couple of things that are a little bit different. You can get that running start in Canadian football, and I think the lines are separated a little bit more. If you watch it, they're not helmet to helmet on the offense and defense line. I think they're separated by a yard or two. Obviously, the field goals are at the goal line. I think there's if you punt into the end zone, you get a point or something.
You're right. It is a little bit odd too. Some of the rules, but the bones are the same.
Are the same, and that's why we've seen a couple of standouts go from Canadian football to the NFL and have extremely good careers.
But just to your point, and it's just nice to see some other states and Yeah, like you said, even other countries coming into Ohio to compete.
When the Falcons go to Laredo, Texas, they're going to be playing other countries too. And if one of our teams makes it to the Little League World Series, it goes from regional, obviously, to world. So you get the Taipeis and you get the Chinas and you get the Europes and all those teams that won their respective countries.
I always love like when ESPN will have like those type of games on for Little League, just seeing how all those different cultures interact with the game.
I love watching like the respect that a Japanese team will have for their opponent, like bow to them before they even start the game, and like the respect is cranked up to 10 in Japan.
And just like you said, I mean, from that culture to even like Japan to China is even vastly different in how they approach the game as well. And it's so cool because there's successful athletes in all of these sports, and it's kind of like you said, the same skeleton of the game, but different mindsets and different ways to
a little
approach.
bit of different style. You know, we've seen a lot of Japanese hitters come into the professional league here in America, and they're taught a little bit more put the ball in play.
Stereotypically good contact hitters, that high average hitters that get on base a lot.
Outside of Shohei Ohtani, who's just a freak of nature.
That dude smashes, man.
But like Ichiro Suzuki, bro, great example. He was pretty much a slap hitter. You know, he kind of got a little bit of a momentum start to first base before he swung the bat. And a lot of Japanese baseball players are kind of like that. Their focus is a lot more get on base than, you know.
The hitters have a lot more success, it feels like, translating than the pitchers. Remember, like, who are some of the ones like Daisuke Matsuzaka? Remember him? He was like okay for a year, but he kind of fell off. I don't know what happened to Tanaka from the Yankees. He was all right for like a couple years.
I remember during COVID, like the only baseball we could watch was the Korean League.
Yeah,
more people like latching on to those teams, like the dinosaurs or whatever. I think they were the dinosaurs, Dragon, or you know, they were getting jerseys or like whatever it takes.
Korean League was popping with baseball when we were in quarantine.
Oh man, that's fun. But like you said, it's a little bit of different style, but the skeleton of the game remains, which is the beautiful thing about sports. You go from country to country, and the culture reflects a couple of stylistic changes, but at the end of the day, skeleton of that sport exactly the same.
And the beautiful thing, like we said about all sports, is there's no one way to success about it. Is you can follow these different mindsets and you can find success. It's just you kind of find what really befits you or how you can fit within those styles of play.
Especially a sport like baseball, right? Because there's no like certain body type that excels at baseball. There's no, you know, one way to there's so many different swings that people do. Whatever, the mechanics aren't exactly the same. There are some fundamentals in there that are the same, but at the end of the day, like there's more than one way to bake a cake.
Yeah, no, they're definitely
not. It's a recipe. You got to stick to the recipe. That's a bad metaphor.
I would say though, like when you look at just the baseball all-star game is a perfect example, and I think I seen something on this recently too. On just like you look at the size differentials on these guys and just on the teams too, like Giancarlo Stanton compared to the one guy from Toronto, and like their height is like dude's like 5'6" from Toronto and he's 260, and Giancarlo's like 6'5", 240, and it's like I mean there's different sizes, different frames that can all find success in this sport.
What's Jose Altuve's height? I mean, he's a little guy.
5'5", I think. No, he might even be shorter. He might be like 5'3", honestly.
He's a little guy, you know. He's still professional and a very good one at that.
DJ's gonna come in and say, "You better watch your mouth." That's good.
He likes Jose Altuve.
No, Jose Altuve, but he's a perfect example of a guy that
Baez isn't that big either.
But you know what the great thing about Jose Altuve? It's not even that he just puts the ball in play. He's a high average hitter. He can hit home runs, and he hits them at a pretty decent clip too. And you don't always have to be like tree trunk arms and jack to crush homers.
It's actually better if you're not tree trunk arms, right? Like, because we've said the power comes from your legs.
Yeah, it comes from waist, legs a lot. Like, I mean, if you're really working on your hips a lot too, and just that motion too, and just getting muscle memories, those kind of muscles, all that goes into driving a baseball further.
How about in other sports though, it does have that body type that like you are going to be more successful if you are this.
Well, in NBA, yeah, if you are over 6'6" tall, you're going to traditionally have a little bit more success in
There's
basketball.
just no way around it. Like you're going to have more success in basketball if you have height.
That's what we said. And I mean, you can't teach height, and that is the famous thing in basketball. As much as I love the sport too, and I do, and don't get me wrong, there is plenty of short players that find ways to have success.
Bugsy.
It's a little bit harder to find success in that sport, though.
You gotta love Muggsy. He was like what 5'6" maybe.
Yeah. But even in basketball, like we've seen with the 3-point shot for some of these shorter players, like they find ways to make an impact for their team and for the sport too. The best players will. Nothing will stand in the way. If you're good at a sport, you're good at a sport, and if you put the time in to your talent too, and you do perfect practice makes perfect, right? So put in some good practice, put in some good reps too. There's nothing that can really stand in your way, right?
Full circle moment. We'll go back to how we started this conversation. Wish the best of luck to all of our little league teams that are either fighting for a state, or on Monday when we come back, we'll have the Boardman team fighting for regionals in Wadestown, Indiana.
The biggest thing too, just enjoy the moment, right? For these kids, for these parents especially, like just enjoy the moment, enjoy the ride, enjoy the experience too, and just being able to watch these kids be able to compete at this kind of level too. Enjoy the game and just have a great time too. Take a moment to soak it all in.
The 12:30 games on YSN should be kicked off by now, as the finals are in from this morning from the NABF World Series, and those 12:30 games should be underway. It is going to be Mid-Atlantic versus Whiting at 12:30, and then we'll also have 16U Long Island Baseball versus the Astro Falcons at 12:30. The Ohio Hurricanes taking on the Ohio Longhorns at 12:30, and Team Ontario Astros will take on the BHM Buckeyes in 18U action at 12:30 as well. All those games on ysnlive.com/live. Let's see if this one's kicked off yet.
That's perfect examples too, and of other teams from out of state that are coming into play in that NABF too. We've seen the Brunswick Orioles down from Maryland too. They're coming from Maryland up here to play.
Brooklyn Bonnies.
So even right now, we're seeing plenty of out-of-state teams, and we already highlighted how these teams stay in hotels too. Like it's a whole event to come up here and play these games. So
that's the thing that people don't talk. Like this in ABF, and the year we lost, it really hurt the economy of the area because the teams are coming, they're staying in our hotels, they're eating in our restaurants. That's a boost to the local area, not just a boost to exposing people to Scene Park and Austintown and Springfield, but also the boost is just the local economy because they do have to stay in our hotels, they do have to eat at our restaurants, and they do have to kind of find their leisure here in our area. So it's big for the economy.
Get out to these games too, though, folks, and support. And like we said, you can get them on YSN if you can't make it out there. But it's a perfect opportunity because how many areas really get the opportunity to bring this kind of talent level into it and have this kind of tournament, this kind of extensive big tournament going on right now.
This happens to me every time I flip through TV, and now it's happening to me with YSN. I just want to see the score, and you put it on, and it's on a commercial.
Oh, I know. That happens to me all the time. Like if I'm on a break at my other job, I'll go to try to take a look at just some scores or just what's happening on the night, and it's always a commercial break.
I just want to check the score real quick and then get back to what I was doing. And then it's like, here's an Arby's commercial. Oh, thanks.
That's, yeah.
At least with YSN, our wonderful sponsors are the ones that you have to see.
Yeah, the sponsors at least are local too. A lot of local sponsorships too. So we love shouting out the local ties too.
Maybe we'll get some RB sponsorship one day.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take some RB sponsorship. I am not tied down to any kind of sponsorship. Or I'm not going to shy away from any kind of sponsorship that wants to come on and represent the Ysn.
Running Point, brought to you by Curly Fries.
That Anthony has to scarf down a large curly fry in the beginning of the segment.
We're not sponsored by Arby's. We're just sponsored by their curly fries.
That's the gimmick too. The only way you get the sponsorship, Anthony has to scarf down a large curly at the beginning of every show.
What I want to talk about.
I'm like, come on, Ant, we got to hurry up. You got like 2 minutes to go.
And, like by the end of the show, I'd have heartburn.
Oh my God, it would be so bad. It's so bad. Oh man.
Mid-Atlantic is winning right now over Whiting 5-0, bottom of the first, and they had a really good explosive top of the first inning. Did Mid-Atlantic, so Whiting looking for some answers as they are in a hole early in that game, down at it looked like Bob Scene.
Yeah, and I mean, just gonna need to battle back, see if they can get some late inning rallies to go their way as this ball game progresses.
The Whiting team that's coming off a lot of momentum, right? They won the Class B tournament. They swept through that whole championship bracket, and now they have to kind of gear right back up for NABF. And so far, struggling to get that gear turned back on.
It's a little bit tough too, because you go from that peak of winning a championship,
right,
and you kind of have to build all that momentum up again. And we've seen Whiting though; they've been able to adjust from losses. They've been able to bounce back. I don't think dropping a game is going to hurt them mentally or confidence wise at all.
And it's not just like, hey, you win a championship, but now it's like you win a championship and you have to go back to the bottom rung and just play from everyone 0-0.
Yeah, exactly. So you
momentum.
right back from even.
Right, and that's what Mike Bailey always says, right? Stay even.
It's a tough thing to do, especially when you had the experience of being the best of the best in 16U.
And we also don't know if they have their complete Class B roster or if anything like that.
No, we don't know the finer details of what's going on with the actual Whiting team. But like we said, if you got the bones still there, the successful players too, and a lot of those guys had a huge influential part in the season. But if you still have some of those guys on the roster, those guys can definitely play ball a little bit. So I expect them to be able to turn it up.
Trying to check into some other scores here before we take our next break. Once again, there are 4 12:30 games going on right now. Let's see if we can see how the Astro Falcons are doing against Long Island baseball real quick.
Long Island.
I don't know if that's necessary. It might be Long Island, like New York.
I was going to say that'd be pretty cool if it's from Long Island, New York, all the way down here.
That's impressive. Long Island baseball.
Making the trek down here too. That's about a 6-7 hour drive you're looking at.
If you don't have to get out of the city, it might be like a 10-hour drive.
I feel like 2.5 hours to get out of Long Island.
Like, let's be real, the traffic in the Long Island city in Manhattan is just, it's not fun. Right now, the score of that game is 3-0 Long Island with a lead over the Astro Falcons. Top of the second inning. Looks like the Falcons are pitching, and Long Island has runners on first and second with 1 out.
It becomes a question of how many pitchers you're trying to save for what instances too, right? It depends on what your arm situation's like, but it's still early in that game. Astros definitely bounce back from further deficits.
Remember, that is the 16U division. We'll also be watching the 18U Astro Falcons as well, as they are not only playing this weekend, but then they have the Class B Championship Series continuing on Monday, and then they also have the Palomino World Series going down there to Texas too.
Competing for a lot of gold are the Astro Falcons here in the next coming weeks.
Those Falcons will be in action tonight at 8:00 from Scene Park. And I believe because Mark did say there was a doubleheader. They also play at 5:30. So he was doubleheader. They will play North Coast Select at 5:30. And then at 8:00, the nightcap, they will play the East Coast Michigan baseball as well.
So, hey, you get to see some different states in action as well tonight.
East Coast Michigan baseball. That's a pretty big trek to come from that to Youngstown to play some baseball.
Absolutely, it is.
And talking about a trek, we have someone that traveled from that Michigan state of Michigan where her last coaching job was. She's going to go all the way down to Florida for her next coach. Oh, popped out. Maybe she's having some technical difficulties. We had Jenna Modic-Blithers in the green room, but she just popped out. So I was about to put her on.
Well, I guess we could say thanks to our sponsors then. And
Right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll hopefully have her back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Jimmy Sutton here, director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards? Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring PGA professionals, golf instruction, a players' rewards club, kids programs, and a pro shop and grill room for a memorable golf experience. Call or click to schedule your tee time at Mill Creek Golf Course.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers. From sales to financing and even service, we'll help build your perfect vehicle
and lock in your trade value
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing,
regardless of your situation or credit history. No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Now is the time to think about your future, where you want to go, what you want to be. Your future can start now at Kent State Salem or Kent State East Liverpool. We have programs that will open doors and provide opportunities for you to pursue your passion. We are affordable. We are close. You call it hometown. We call it Kent State University. Learn more at www.kent.edu/Columbiana. You belong here.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell, and we are going to be joined by our guest today in Jenna Modic-Blithers, who Poland alum and now the new assistant coach at Florida Gulf Coast University. And we had her for a minute.
Glitch Gremlins getting us today, and just having some technical difficulties.
On a Friday, right?
It always seems to happen on the Fridays, right?
We will continue to work to try to get her. Oh, did we get her?
Maybe. Sometimes we battle through it. Sometimes too, connection issues. We've had it more than one time happen before.
Oh, are we good?
Think we heard you for a second.
Am I in or am I not?
You're good.
I think you're in. I can hear you.
All right, perfect. I will stay where I am.
Don't move.
Right.
So we're going to talk about your whole softball journey, and we're so excited for you. But first, I just want to ask about how excited you are for this new journey at Florida Gulf Coast University, and how excited you are for this new job and this new coaching opportunity that you have down there in Florida.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've always wanted to live in Florida. Definitely a warm weather kind of girl, even though I'm from Ohio. But it's super exciting. I'm so blessed to have the opportunity to be here and to just get to see the wonderful things that they have going on here at FGCU. And I mean, really, it's surreal thinking about where it all started to where I am now. So, I mean, I'm just super excited.
And where it all started was Poland High School back in the day. And, we're having you on because you're a proud Poland alum and you're a YSN alum as far as I'm concerned. As we look back on your high school career, what are some of the favorite memories you have with that team and the things that you still look back on today now that you're a coach?
I mean, winning the state championship my junior year was by far the best moment of my high school career. But really, just playing at Poland and having the team that we had was so awesome. We were so good. We competed at a national level. And really, to see how that kind of transpired and being a young girl coming in and playing. My dream was to win a state championship. Then my dream was to go to college. And then I didn't necessarily think I wanted to be a coach, but after getting out of the sports world for a little bit, I realized that all along coaching was where my heart was and softball is where my heart was. So, I mean, to be here now is just so cool.
Brett Modick is a name that's also known in the Youngstown community playing football over at YSU as well. Was he a big influential factor in you getting into sports at a younger age? And if not, what kind of got you on that path in your love for softball?
I mean, my dad has always been kind of my number one fan, my number one supporter, and not that my mom wasn't, but God bless her heart. She had 5 of us, and, she took care of what she needed to at home. And my dad was really the one who was involved with the sports, but it's really my older sisters and growing up and watching them play that kind of inspired me to play. And then both of my parents really just gave me the opportunity and spent a lot of money and a lot of time allowing me to travel all over and to play the game I love. So everybody in my family kind of had different roles in my journey. So I can't specifically say one person. It was kind of a family effort.
While we're talking about your dad, I know there are so many softball players in the area that can kind of, have their success lineage back to him and his coaching and his private coaching that he does. How cool is that for you to know that so many people have been impacted by your family and their journey has been impacted and their success has been impacted?
I mean, it's when you have a good coach, it is half of the battle. And my dad has been around the game of softball forever. And he's seen what it takes to get to the highest level. And he's helped train even Aaron and myself in getting to the highest level possible. So to be able to have those girls kind of grow up in that environment and to have him as a mentor to help them through and to show them the steps it needs to take to be great. I think is such an awesome opportunity, and for it to still be in our hometown and where we played, it's just a really cool thing to see.
I know you have to be your own coach and have your own style, but what are some things that you took from watching him coach that you now reflect in your coaching style?
Just having fun. And I think anyone who's ever seen me coach and or play, that is the one thing that I always have. I love having fun while I'm playing. And the moment you stop having fun is really the moment that I personally think you should stop playing, because ultimately, softball is not going to be a forever thing unless you go into coaching. But you learn so many life lessons from it. So all in one, softball has allowed so many different doors to open in my life.
We know with success comes expectations, like winning a state championship. You have expectations on your shoulders. What advice can you give to players that kind of have those expectations riding on their shoulders, of being able to, when they come shy of meeting those expectations, realizing that this is still just a game and the sun does shine tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to having fun. We have all put the time in, we've put the effort in. Everyone practices for hours and hours, and putting the work in behind the scenes is something that helps you be successful. And so I think always remembering that you've prepared for these moments, and then just embracing them when they come is the biggest piece of advice I can give young girls, because just being able to know that you've prepared and then executing is so important. But if you don't, it's okay. You're going to have another opportunity.
Recruiting has changed so much since you were in high school. Now, you can't recruit nearly as early as you used to be able to. And I'm sure the pressures that you felt as a 13-year-old to kind of exclude yourself, now 13-year-olds don't feel it as much. Talk about your recruiting process and what you learned from it. And then now how much it's changed now that you're a coach and you get to go and be on that part of the recruiting process.
I think an important thing for all girls to know is to truly love the school that you choose to go to. Softball is a plus added on to the school you're going to, but truly loving the school and taking your time to make that decision, because it's something that it's 4 years of your life and you're going to put a lot of time and a lot of effort and dedication into this sport and into playing in college. And I think making sure that you love every aspect of the school, that they have your major and do not change your major just for the school. There's plenty of schools that'll have what you want to do for the rest of your life, and they'll allow you to do that. So I think remembering that and just knowing that softball is just a part of school. There's going to be so many things that you get to experience when you go to college, and it's truly a privilege to be on the field and to be a part of an athletic team in college.
What do you remember about your recruiting process and some of the things that coaches told you and some of the things that stuck out when you were trying to find out where you wanted to go to college?
A couple things. I think the new recruiting rule now of allowing girls to be there to make that decision is so ideal for them. When you're 13, 14, 15 years old, you have no idea where you want to go to school. You have no idea really what you want to wear the next day at that point in time. At least I didn't. And so, that part of recruiting is so important because you're just, you have to do this forever. And by forever, I mean your job and your major. But that softball piece is the special moments, and they're what you're going to remember forever about college and your teammates and having that.
Every state championship team can be described as special. There's something unique about them that gives them that extra drive, and it's a little bit of luck and a whole lot of skill, right, to get to that point. What did you think the championship pedigree or makeup of that Poland team was, if you could kind of put your finger on it? What was it that made you guys so successful as a team? Because we've seen plenty of individuals successful as a sport, but sometimes not the best teams.
Yeah. I think the one thing that was very important is we always expected to win. Regardless if we were behind, we were ahead, we still played like we had nothing to lose. And I think it's hard when you have a certain reputation you have to stand up to or live up to, and those expectations we were talking about earlier. It didn't matter who we were playing. We showed up to play our game, and we bonded so well as a team. We all got along. We all loved hanging out outside of the game. And then we just meshed really well on the field.
Your softball career lasted outside of high school. You went and you played in college. How hard was it to turn off that player mindset and go into coaching mindset?
Honestly, it's not that different. It's not that different because I still have that same competitive edge. Even at practice, I compete with the girls. I'll still pitch to them. I'll still hit to them. And I just compete with them. So having that be able to transition from playing into coaching is something that I don't know that I'll ever be able to turn off. My poor husband, I want to compete in everything I do. And sometimes he's just like, can you chill? But I love that competitive aspect. So being able to have that as a coach, I think helps me because it helps prepare the girls better. So for me, there wasn't really a huge difference. And I know what it takes. I've done it. I've walked through it. And so to be able to help these girls and to be a mentor that no matter how hard it gets, you can make it through and you can do it. I'm able to speak to that because I did it. So I think it's personally truly helped my career and being able to relate to these girls.
Do you still have it when you step in the circle?
Listen, not like I used to. Not like I used to.
We look at these the competitiveness in these girls too, and there's no doubt that the sport of softball growing too. We're seeing younger girls. The talent level of the younger girls is incredible. What can you speak on the growth of the sport, and what's the question I guess you get the most from the younger softball players that ask you advice? I guess what's the question you get asked most frequently?
The question that I get most frequently is, what are you looking for in a college athlete? What are you looking for when you go out recruiting? And I think it's kind of a broad spectrum when you look at it as a whole. Everybody wants the talent. Everybody can see it. You can tell the difference between a baller and somebody who's just there for fun. But when you can kind of have both of those pieces, and like I talked about earlier and touched on, being able to have the skill and prep to constantly make your skill better and to perfect the craft. And I think that's a cool tidbit on softballs. It's constantly changing and you can always get better and you can always work in different ways. That's one of the things with softball is just be a student to the game. I tell these young girls all the time in the recruiting process, don't be afraid to be a student of the game. Don't think you have to know everything. Because still in coaching, when I go to camps, I'm learning from other coaches. I'm picking their brain on things that have helped them and made them successful. So that's really what I get asked most of the time.
So I'm sure you've seen a lot of players come into college with expectations of what it's going to be like that don't meet the reality. Like they're not know what to expect. What do you think the biggest misconception is about college softball from players when they're coming in that they don't really realize what the reality is going to be like?
It's hard work. It is hard work. I think going from travel ball, you see that you play 4 or 5 games in a day. But when you get to college, playing 1 game is way tougher than playing 5 games in a day. The talent from top to bottom to on the bench is, top of the line. You don't have a so-called break in the middle of a game. You constantly have to be mentally checked in every single pitch. And if you're not, you will expose yourself really quick. And I think that's something that's kind of that misconception is we're ready to play 10 games in a weekend. And then you play 3 games in a weekend in college and you're like, whoa, that was a lot harder. So being able to physically train your bodies and to mentally train your bodies, because it's hard work. It's hard work.
We've asked a lot of your advice too for these athletes, but I kind of want to go reverse on that. What's some of the best advice you've received in your experience with your college teams, your high school teams, your entire experience with the sport?
Again, it goes back to the enjoying it. We've worked so hard. I've given up so much to be where I am, with just being a normal kid, of being able to hang out with my friends on the weekends. And I was willing to sacrifice that. And my dad always talked about that when I was younger. He was like, hey, it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off. And then when you finally get that scholarship or you finally see these accolades come in, it's so cool to see that your hard work truly does pay off and it's not going unnoticed, and that you really can achieve the dreams and the goals that you set out to have.
During the last NCAA tournament, you got to step in as the interim head coach, and you got also, because of that, you got to put on the ESPN, headset and do your little mid-inning interview, get your time to sign. What was that moment like? Were you nervous at all to kind of be interviewed by the broadcast crew? I mean, it's from a coach's perspective. What was that moment like?
To be honest, I've never really been too shy of talking in front of people. Again, for those that know me, know that I love being around people and being in those kinds of settings. So for me, it was just an exciting opportunity. I got to do it when I was a player and now as a coach. Again, it's just one of those surreal moments where you think and you dream of doing these things, and then to actually be there and be doing it. It's just one of those surreal moments. And like I tell the players all the time, I just embraced it like I tell them to do on the field.
We asked players this when we get them on, because softball is such a big community and you get to meet people from all walks of life that might not wear the same uniform as you. So whether it be high school, college, or coaching now, who is your best friend that never wore the same uniform that you did?
Oh, that's a good question. That never wore the same uniform. Honestly, my boss, Lauren, from Oakland, she has become, I got to play for her. I got to coach for her. Never really wore the same uniform, but I always felt like she was there to help me, whether on the field or off the field. She has become somebody who has and will always be somebody in my life as a mentor, as a friend, that I know I can call, and she will give me the best advice possible. So I can't ever thank her enough for the opportunity that she gave me, both as a player and as a coach, or as a mentor and a boss. She has allowed me to elevate on the field and off the field.
Let's get into the excitement of the sport a little bit. Out of all the games that you've played, shout out a few where you've made the crowd get really, really loud.
So when we went to regionals at Michigan, we were playing Cal in the semifinals of regionals, and I hit a grand slam to go ahead and go up. I forget what the score was. I think 6-3. That moment in my life will forever go down as the best moment in softball for me and my career. My mom and sister were there, and just hearing the stories of people who were watching the game because it was on ESPN was just so cool to see the support I had not only at the field, but also at home and back in Youngstown.
You got on SportsCenter top 10 a couple of times in your career too. One
Yeah.
for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
I think you were robbed of a home run. Don't want to bring up that, but that Grand Slam also got on SportsCenter. So
Yeah.
You had your minutes of fame back as a player.
I did. It was a lot of fun. And like I said, I'm truly blessed. And, if you put the hard work in and you're willing to commit to doing it, the sky's really the limit.
All right. Before we let you go, I want to let you give a shout out to the Poland 10U team and some advice because your youth league still representing. They're going on for trying to win a state championship this weekend. What do you have to say to people I'm sure you're rooting for?
Yeah, good luck. First of all, my heart is always with you guys back in Poland. Shoot for the stars, guys. Go out there and leave it all on the field. Leave it out there, because if you leave the game and, you're like, oh, I wish I could have did this or I should have done that, just go out, enjoy the atmosphere, and go get that ring.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Congratulations on the new gig at Florida Gulf Coast.
Thank you.
And we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Jenna Modic-Blyther is joining us live from Florida as she takes on her new assistant coaching role at Florida Gulf Coast University. Anthony Hartwig with Ty Bartel. What a great conversation with someone that has reached, their goals and reached their pinnacles of what they wanted to achieve in the sport, and the advice that she can give to a lot of players in our area and our YSN scope that are doing the same thing right now.
She has a lot of accomplishments in her career as well too. And if you haven't gotten a chance to see it, I'm sure there's plenty of clips of the Grand Slam too. And
oh yeah,
I want to shout out one of those career highlights too, just so for anyone who doesn't know her, you could get acclimated with it really quickly too, and just the kind of business she's all about when she steps on that field too, and what kind of a game she's going to bring in the coaching role too. And just what kind of an edge that gives her as a coach to have all that experience as a player under her belt to be able to help the next level.
Yeah, we've always been, good at jabbing at each other, playfully jabbing at each other, because obviously she played for Pitt. She's in the ACC. Georgia Tech's in the ACC. I love Georgia Tech softball. I went down for Pitt versus Georgia Tech. They won the series.
Ant was angry.
Yeah, it was a great time. I've been watching Jenna for a while from Poland, graduating in there, getting to watch them play, and then her brief stay at Miami, Ohio, and then going to Pitt to play, right in your backyard, just 45 minutes down the turnpike, over the turnpike.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, it was great fun watching her career. Now she's finally at a place where I don't have to root against her, because she coached at Oakland, who always had to play YSU. So it was like, now I can fully root for Jenna Modic-Blyther's, and I'm excited about that. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely a great coach, a great player, great person too. Glad to have her featured here on Running Point.
And a great family in Ohio. You brought out Brett played at YSU. He still coaches a lot of the girls in the area, and like I said, a lot of area softball players can trace their lineage of success back to being coached by Brett Modic.
Yeah, and like she said, it was a family of 5, 4 girls and a boy, I believe, too, in that Modic family. So it was a sizable family growing up.
We covered her younger sister on YSN. She was a 3-point standout at South Range for the basketball team, and now we get to get her FaceTime a little bit on YSN as well.
The Modics.
Gonna have to get a Modic family circle.
Yeah, there you go. There's a lot of sports success through some of it.
If we let Brett on, he'd never stop talking.
Brett Modic, he can go. I don't think I've ever talked to the legend himself.
Like when you get him, he's one of those guys. If you get him talking about something that he's passionate about,
just goes.
And there are a lot of guys like that, whether it be sports or maybe they're reserved if they're not talking about something they're passionate about. But once you hit that one spot, that one subject, it's like, good luck getting them off the phone.
Our GM Steve Leslie's like that with all subjects. He's like that with all subjects. Steve Leslie's great on he has so much knowledge. He can go for forever on so many topics too.
And great thing about Steve is like he might just walk away from the conversation in the middle of
Yeah.
it.
No, Steve will. No, not might. He will. He will just walk away. That's how the conversation ends. He's just like he's just like that's it.
That's also someone that I'm excited to see when football season starts back. If he'll mosey on down to headquarters for a bit to check us out, because haven't seen Steve. Saw him at the All-Star game, but he was obviously a busy person during that All-Star game. So quick handshake, how you doing? But I like to get some GM time back in my life a little bit.
Yeah, Steve Leslie, obviously a great personality too in the YSN family that we are so thankful to have.
And you thank him after every game, and we all thank him after every game to sign off the broadcast. We wouldn't be what we're doing without the waves that Steve Leslie pushes, and a majority of it is behind the scenes.
He's a very well-respected name in the community, and with good reason too. He's a great person, and very similar to like how DJ talks about Dan Yeagley. I could say the same thing about Steve Leslie, just like not a better human being that you could really find than Steve.
Give you the shirt off your back if you're a complete stranger.
Yeah,
without hesitation.
Honestly, no doubt.
Gotta love people like that. We're going to take another break and pay some bills. When we come back, we'll get back into what's going on tonight in the network on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our family's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com or find us on Facebook.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin. We're going to split that break in half because Ty, I totally forgot that you got some duty to get to. You're going to Austintown in a minute here to call 3 games on the network tonight, 3, 5:30, and 8 o'clock. And I'm sure you've done a little bit of prep on the teams that you're going to see. What are you most excited about these matchups that you're specifically going to call in Austintown tonight?
I'm excited and just getting a chance to really experience some of these newer teams and these newer faces that I'm going to see in the 16U realm, because it's not all the Bobstein Park teams anymore. So it's seeing that next level, the new talent level that's come in that we've already gotten a chance to see on the network. I'm just excited to see the new faces, new pitchers, new bats, and just see what they have to offer.
What are your 3 matchups?
Let me double check the exact matchups too, because I don't remember the exact names of the teams offhand too. I have my book in the thing in my briefcase. Let me double check the schedule. I think it's on right here. My thing's taking forever to load. 1 second.
So you have the game at 3.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 5:30, and 8. There'll also be a game in between yours and 5:30 at Springfield that starts at 3:30 from 16U baseball. Noah Doty will be on the call there. Ty, you're in the middle of a cluster with a lot of games on the network today. 21 ABF and then a 22nd game from Eastwood Field for the Scrappers. It's a busy day.
Let me putting up this schedule. I finally got it loaded up. All right. So let's see. The ones at Fitch, 3 o'clock, I got Michigan going up against the Ohio Tide, Ohio Hurricanes going up against Creekside, and then I round things out with the all YSN, I should say Bobstein Park teams, Avalanche and Creekside. But yeah, that Michigan and Ohio Tide game should be a fun one too to talk about. 2 new teams that I've never gotten a chance to see before.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Tide looked impressive last night. They got runs in 5 of the 7 innings and came away with the 15-5 victory over the Ohio Titans Baseball Club. Some names that you might call today: Matthew Richardson, he went 1 for 4 with 4 RBI. Alex Mister for the Tide went 2 for 3 with 2 runs, 2 walks, 2 RBIs, and then Brett Zawatsky went perfect to the plate, 2 for 2, a walk, 2 runs scored, 2 RBI. Brandon Henderson, 2 RBI, 1 for 2, scored 2 runs and walked 1. So those are some names that you might be familiar with, might get familiar with tonight for that Tide game.
Yeah, and it should be fun all the way around too, as get to see these teams compete from out of state as well.
Not a Crimson Tide.
No, not the Crimson Tide, but that's the Ohio Tide.
I didn't know.
It should be a fun one, though. Yeah, 3 o'clock all the way until the evening hour. And, I mean, we even have games starting later than that. I have an 8 o'clock game. I think DJ's got one starting at 10 tonight. So,
yes,
we are pretty packed tonight. Anthony will, of course, when we get back from the break, get you through the
I think that was, I mean, I remember seeing that 10 p.m. start time earlier, but I think it was a typo because now none of the games on our schedule go past 8 o'clock.
I was going to say, that seems like pretty sadistic to start a game at 10 o'clock at night. But, yeah, there's plenty of games that are happening on the network. Anthony will get you through the announcers and where those games will be and kind of get you the guidance through that in the last part of the show.
Yeah, Ty, when we take a break, you're going to head out so you can get to Austintown in a timely manner and be prepared for that. Maybe catch Richie as he's heading out. He is there for the 12:30 game from Austintown. So he'll be heading out while you're heading in.
Yeah, catch him in passing for sure. For sure.
So we'll take the second half of our break, and we just wanted to kind of give you a chance to preview your games tonight. And when we come back, I'll be back with you on Running Point to wrap up the show. Brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
We are Kent State in the Valley. Start and finish one of more than 25 bachelor's or associate degree programs, or start one of Kent State's 280 majors. With low tuition, public, and plenty of scholarship opportunities, we will help you maximize your education and minimize student debt. Enjoy the benefits of a smaller campus with all the opportunities of a large university. Save money, stay close to home. Apply today by visiting kent.edu/Trumbull.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience, WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealth.com. Good luck, athletes.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
It's a new year at Acura of Boardman and Boardman Mitsubishi with huge savings on over 350 fully inspected vehicles. We have cars, trucks, SUVs, minivans, and work vehicles. We don't have it, our team will find it. We aim for 100% credit approval with payments as low as $99 per month. And as always, we'll pay top dollar for your trade. For a great vehicle and a great experience, come see why everyone is stopping by at Acura of Boardman and Boardman Mitsubishi.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting, where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education, and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
You know, being able to have success on the football field and the basketball court and just every aspect of, my sports career is now documented. And one of the greatest things about high school sports is to be able to talk about it for the rest of your life and to look back on the days with my buddies whenever we had some battles, whether it was with, our rival or just another game. And I could go back and look at it and, not only myself, but my family members, my teammates, and it's something that will last a lifetime. My name is Parker Sherry, and my sports network is your sports network.
In storm season,
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk Futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig, Ty Bartell was with me, and he is on his way to Austintown now. He has a game there for the NABF World Series tonight at 3. He's also going to be there for 3 straight games, 3 o'clock, 5:30, and 8. So we thank him and all of our announcers that are putting in a lot of time this weekend to make sure that every game of the NABF World Series from yesterday to tonight, to Saturday to Sunday, gets covered on ysnlive.com. One of the things that broke this morning, a news story that broke, Mineral Ridge School Board has voted and approved Cardinal Mooney continuing to use their facilities as their home stadium in 2022. So that was a 4-1 vote, and it really worked out well for Cardinal Mooney last year to have Mineral Ridge as a home facility. It's a beautiful new turf field. I think it let them be a little bit separate from some other schools and, kind of have one that felt like it was just theirs. Obviously, it moved a lot of their games to Saturdays, and that should be the same thing this year as they play at Mineral Ridge, their home games at Mineral Ridge, I should say, and that was voted on by the board 4-1. But Mineral Ridge also voted on a issue to whether or not to allow Warren JFK to use their home facilities on September 9th, and they have voted down that idea 3-2. So Warren JFK will not be able to play their September 9th game at Mineral Ridge, but Mineral Ridge will be the continued home for Cardinal Mooney football in the future. So we look at this weekend. We talked about NABF and what we have on tonight, but not just 21 games tonight, but then it continues tomorrow with another slew of games ranging from 9 a.m. all the way down into 8 p.m. tomorrow. Busy day again at Bobstein Park, Austintown, Fitch, and Springfield. Want to give a shout out to our announcers that are putting in work today. Richie Giuliano there for twice. Matt Mayer is there twice this afternoon. David Williams will come on to scene 1 at 12:30 and 3. He'll also be there at 5:30. And then we'll have Noah Doty at Springfield again tonight. as he'll go from Springfield to Scene Park, coming from Springfield at a game that starts at 3:30 to a game that starts at 5:30 at Scene Park. So Noah Doty's going to be hitting that gas pedal hard to get to Struthers and Bob Scene Park as he tries to make that work. Ty Bartell going to be there for 3 games tonight. DJ Oakley doing some games as well. He'll be there at 8 o'clock on Scene 1. And then we go into tomorrow. Some names you'll hear: Ty Bartell coming at 9 a.m. He'll be there at 9. He'll be there at 11:30. He'll be there at 2. He'll be there at 4:30, and he'll round out his day with that 4:30 game. So Ty doing a lot of work at Austintown tomorrow as well. Matt Mayer going to be doing some morning games at Scene along with Noah Ricks, Bob Zanny, also Alec Caberna coming in at 11:30 tomorrow on Scene 2. And then we'll have, Dom Files doing some games. Ian O'Brien going to head out to Scene tomorrow as well. And DJ Oakley going to be taking care of the Mahoning Valley Scrappers tomorrow as they have their second game against State College in the series. Once again, they are having a homestand of 12 of their next 15 games at Eastwood Field. We'll go into Sunday. NABF will be wrapping up, and you'll have David Williams, Noah Ricks, Matt Mayer on calls there, as well as Brian Oatridge, who will be calling a game at 11 a.m. 2 o'clock on Scene 1, Matt Mayer, and then Ty Bartell, if necessary, will be doing a game at 7 o'clock in Austintown tomorrow. So that's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we go into Saturday real quick again. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20, 24, 25, 28, 29. 29 games on Saturday and Sunday combined with the 22 tonight. So like we said before, Thursday, over 60 games covered in the NABF World Series between yesterday and Sunday, which is just a monumental weekend for Ysn. One of the last big gasps of baseball before we start preparing for the fall sports season. As we look at next week, though, not done. Remember, the Class B Baseball Championship Series will continue on Monday. They are in Game 4 of that series. The Astro Falcons lead 2-1 against Creekside. So we could have Class B baseball next week as well on Monday and Tuesday as the championship series continues from Bob Scene Park. And then Bob Scene Park will have a little bit of action in August as the Santa Baseball Invitational comes to Struthers as well. So baseball not quite done yet, but we are starting to turn those gears into preparing for the fall sports season. Official practices begin August 1st. And from what we've heard from a lot of the coaches we've reached out to, is that is when they will want to come on and start previewing their teams when they get tryouts done and they get the rosters more square and a bigger idea of what everyone's going to look like. But we have seen a couple of teams be very successful at some summer camps and be very successful at some scrimmages as well. So there's a lot of excitement brewing, but because the rosters aren't exactly finalized yet in volleyball and soccer and football, a lot of coaches have told us that that first week of August is when we should be able to start bringing them on the show and having our fall sports previews with volleyball, football, soccer, golf. We're going to be talking to a lot of those people as the seasons get ever so closer. One of the things that happened yesterday is the drive, chip, and putt begin at Mill Creek Golf Course. We have Boardman Sophia Rivera winning the junior long drive championship with a drive of 222 yards. She'll be, gearing that varsity Boardman girls golf team. A lot of other local players are going to be playing this weekend in the drive, chip, and putt as well from Mill Creek Park. And it's another opportunity to see golfers that are going to be very successful at the varsity level in a couple of weeks, finish up their summer season. And it's not just that. There's going to be the AJGA that continues next week, as well as the golfers that we talked about a couple of weeks ago that won that qualifier go into the next round of the AJGA next week as well. That'll start on the 26th, I believe, at Avalon will be the next round of the AJGA. Then we look at what else is going on over the weekend. We shouted out the Canfield Little League baseball team of the 10U division. They will be going to Rock Hill, Ohio, who we looked up and we could not find. We found a Rock Hill that was in a city called Flushing, Ohio, but it looked like it was kind of in the middle of nowhere. So maybe that's it. It's about an hour and a half away. But either way, Canfield will be making the trip down there this weekend as their 10U team tries to fight for a state championship. Also, the 11U Boardman baseball team heading to fight for a state championship, and they'll take on North Canton. Actually, both teams will take on North Canton in different spots, but both teams will be fighting North Canton in the first round of that state bracket. Also, Austintown 10U softball will be fighting for the state tournament championship in Ashtabula, as well as Poland's 10U softball team as well. And we had the Poland alum Jenna Modic-Blithers on, who gave them a good message at the end of her interview as they wish all the teams that are fighting for a state championship this weekend the best of luck in their Little League endeavors. And then, of course, on Monday, the Boardman 12U softball team will fight for a regional, and they'll be going on next week for the winner with the chance to go to the Little League World Series here in a couple of weeks. So very exciting time, not just for the NABF Senior Series and their Junior Series, which are the older kids, but also very exciting time for the youth of the sport as well, as they gear up for the pinnacle of youth baseball and softball in the country, with the Little League Softball and Baseball World Series coming up very, very shortly. And really, there's nothing better. If you watch the Little League World Series on ESPN, me and Ty talked about it, the melting pot of cultures is one of the best things to watch during that time. You see teams from Taipei, teams from Japan, teams from China, teams from Europe all come together in Williamsport for that melting pot of cultures. And you get to see how culture affects the style of play. I mean, the skeleton of the game is still the same, but there are some stylistic changes in how Japan plays baseball compared to how we play baseball, or how, Europe plays baseball, or how even Taipei in Asia, which is not the same as Japan. Same continent, different cultures. Doesn't matter. Mexico plays baseball a little bit different. So you get to see widening respect and sportsmanship and a melting pot and a coming together of cultures at that Little League World Series in Williamsport. That's one of the more fun things to watch when you watch the Little League World Series, which is right around the corner, and it will be covered by ESPN, of course, like it always is. The Boardman softball team that is going to play in regionals will be streamed on ESPN Plus if you want to follow them and you're not able to go to Whitestown, Indiana. And once again, that starts Monday as they will fight with 8 other state winners in the regional. And once again, winner goes to the Little League Softball World Series. As we continue our coverage of baseball and throughout the summer, and we gear up for fall. As we look for, we already went over the games of the weekend, and we're going to end the show a little bit early today because, obviously Ty is going to Austintown, and we have set you up for all the games that are going to be on the network over the weekend. It's going to wrap up a coverage of the NABF World Series that goes to 60 plus games from Thursday to Sunday as we wrap up our coverage of the NABF World Series this weekend. When we come back on Monday, we will be able to recap all the action over the weekend, tell you how our Little League teams did as well, and set you up for the week to come on Monday on Running Point. 12 to 2 as always. Me and Ty, we're taking a 72-hour break, and we'll be back on Monday. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next from 2 to 3, and then the Power Hour will get you up from 3 to 4. And, of course, baseball is on the network from now until 8 p.m. So if you want to go check out a baseball game now, you can head over to ysnlive.com/live to check that out. Games will be going on from now until, like I said, 8 o'clock in the NABF World Series. A lot of announcers putting in a lot of work, so make sure to go check them out. Make sure to check us out on social media at Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And while you're on our YouTube page, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also hit that notifications bell so you never miss a minute of the video content that we put up on our YouTube page. YouTube algorithm, it can be kind of funky. You never want to miss anything that we post, and we post almost daily on there interviews, post-game interviews, talk shows, and more on our YouTube page. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss a minute